All right, Rich, you're there. You just gotta unmute your phone.
He needs a Danielle.
He needs a Danielle.
There he
Got
There
me?
you go.
There we go.
Oh my God. All right.
All right, Bob.
All right, we're just waiting to get started here because the borough attorney is not present, nor is the borough engineer. So we're just waiting for them to log on and then we'll get the meeting going.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I was just gonna run down to the Borough Hall.
You're all right, Rich. How are we looking for next meeting? Amy, do we have some applications?
Yes, we have actually, well, we were supposed to have 3, but now we have 2.
Okay.
And then we actually have 3 for the April 2nd.
Okay. So who does Bill Haggerty, he has to administer the oath to someone?
Correct.
Who's that? Who does he have to?
To,
Oh, wow.
yeah. To,
Rick.
oh, I'm trying to see, I'm sorry, Rick?
Yes,
Here,
okay.
yeah. And his wife, yeah, yes. Should I call?
I would call him. I mean, I don't know if they forgot. I mean, do you have Haggerty's phone number?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just sent John a text. I don't know. I mean,
I'm just gonna check the front door real quick because it does say that on the agenda, the meeting's in person. I just want to see if maybe John's outside. Just let me check.
I thought we were starting the in-person meetings in the beginning of April, right?
yeah, we are. I don't know. I don't know how that, I don't know what happened with that. How
Yeah.
that-
John's coming in now. He's
It's
joining the meeting
open
now.
Public meeting held remotely after,
So we're just waiting for Haggerty now.
it says open public held.
John's coming in now. There he is.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
We just need Haggerty's.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Bill Haggerty, John, and we'll get the meeting going.
Okay.
I don't have his cell number.
Oh, I've got it on my phone. I'll go get it.
I might have it. Hold on.
Have you heard from him at all, like in the last week, Amy?
No, I heard from.
Which, hold on, I have his number. I'm calling him right now.
He called me on some things today, so.
Okay. Well, just for all the board members that are here tonight, I had a discussion with the mayor, and when we do go back to live next month, they're also gonna live stream the meetings, but there's gonna be no public interaction with the live stream. People can just watch the meeting. So
That would be
I don't have a problem with any of that. That's fine.
I'm good with it.
Bob,
Yes,
Mr. Haggerty's having problems getting in. I have him on my cell phone on speaker, so we can get the meeting going and he's gonna try and come in.
okay, so what does he want to do? I mean, we'll get started, but I guess he has to swear the new member in, and I guess we could take care of the business end, the bills and stuff. Oh. Okay, then I'll call this meeting to order. This meeting is held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, 10:4-6 at SEEK. Annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald, and a copy of which has been posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcement. Will you please rise and join me with a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
United States of America,
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic,
which
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with
Liberty.
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 justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Secretary, Amy, you could call the roll.
Ron Giovanni? Mr.
Yes.
Sisdon? Oh, I'm sorry.
Here.
Mr. Sharilla?
Yes.
Mr. Delarina?
Here.
Mr. Gavin?
Here.
Ms. Crock? Mr. Kusevich?
Yeah.
I can barely hear you, Amy.
You gotta yell.
Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, here.
Mr. Wagner? Councilman Smith?
Here.
Mayor Galati?
Here,
Chairman Ray?
Here. Okay. The minutes, the motion is in order to approve the minutes from the meeting of February 6, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. Mute yourself. Do it and just yell loud.
You guys are too close.
Mr. Sharilla?
Yes.
Mr. Delarina?
Yes,
Mr. Gaffin?
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich?
Yes,
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
yes,
Chairman Ray?
Yes. Okay, very good. All right, we have a motion to approve the bills from Mount McDonald, Dolan and Dolan, and New Jersey Herald. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion and pay the bills.
I'll second
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Sharilla?
Yes.
Mr. Delarina?
yes,
Mr. Gaffin?
Yes.
Ms. Crock, sorry. Mr. Kusevich?
it. Yes,
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Galati?
yes,
Mr. Wagner? Chairman Ray?
Yes. Okay. Next item is escrow refunds. We have no escrow refunds for this month. Next item is resolutions. We have no resolutions for this month. Correspondence. Bill, do we have any correspondence, or Amy, do we have any?
You have two resolutions.
I don't have them. I don't have them on my, they're not on my agenda.
RJS Construction and Sanchez.
Okay, say, which two were those? Where were they? Just so I,
February 6th.
okay, that was the guy up on, over in Elba Point, in, Elba there with the wall and all that stuff. He was
Correct.
one, correct?
Yes.
What was the other one?
And then Sanchez. Was
Okay.
they statement construction of the retaining wall and paved area?
Yes, okay. So, okay, well then we'll move it. Do we have a motion to approve the resolutions from February 6th?
I'll make a motion for resolution.
I'll second it.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Sharilla?
Yes.
Mr. Delarina?
Yes,
Mr. Gaffin?
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich?
Yes,
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Galati,
Yes,
Chairman Ray.
Yes, I don't know if we should, Mr. Gaithen should be voting on anything
Yeah,
yet. I don't know if he hasn't been
I
sworn in.
realized after I did that, yes.
We'll just have to wait for Mr. Haggerty to handle that one. Okay, correspondence. Amy, do we have any correspondence that we have to address?
No,
Bill Donegan, anything from you? I mean,
Uh,
correspondence?
yes, maybe. For, for a while now, the construction department has had a difficulty with regard to, going ahead and actually accepting building permits for docks and piers. And it has to do with the way the state is set up, and they've actually, the UCC actually, exempts docks and piers. Mount Arlington has treated this scenario by, actually putting, an additional ordinance in their code, and designates an individual to, in their case, it would be the construction official, and in our case, it would also, I imagine, but very basically, they've designated that individual as the the dock inspector, and under that ordinance, they've actually set it up so that you can do the building permit and kind of track what's going on with your docks. Mr. O'Connor actually had, well, Amy had emailed this around to everybody today as a possibility. And it could be something that if the board felt it was important enough that they could suggest to the council that they consider, adopting an ordinance similar to this or of their making. But at any rate, Mr. O'Connor has gone through this ordinance and has no issues with it other than, this references a date of 2000 edition, and it should actually be the 2021 edition because it's the updated edition. And of course, ultimately, eventually, they'd probably want to consider the fee schedule. But so at any rate, I just wanted to bring that up to the board and see what their thoughts were.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because the way it stands now, Bill, nobody's inspecting these docks or the construction of them or anything. Is that correct? So,
As
yeah,
of- Correct. As of the first of the year, Mr. O'Connor figured, he was, he wasn't comfortable in doing it any longer. So if anybody came in to do a dock today, we'd do zoning naturally, but we would not be doing a zoning permit, a building permit, excuse me.
I think as a board, we should make a recommendation to the mayor and council to review the ordinance that Mount Arlington has in place and adopt basically the same ordinance for Hopatcon, so we have somebody looking at all this stuff.
I agree with that as well. I think that's quite important, given the lake community.
Absolutely. So I don't know if we have to take an actual vote on that, or we just send the mayor and council letter that we, as a collectively as a board, we would like to have them review this ordinance and whatever they have to do, adopt it or whatever.
Bobby, can we send it like a committee and then maybe review it and then maybe make some suggestions before we actually vote on them? Are you opposed to that?
Well,
I don't
Steve,
have anybody
the
who
thing
can
is
read
pretty,
them.
the ordinance, the way Mount Arlington did it, it's pretty, I don't really see that we're gonna have to change much on it. It's just, right now, there's nobody inspecting this type of work, because the state says it doesn't fall under the UCC, the Uniform Construction Code, so,
Mm.
Bill O'Connor typically always did that, and then they changed it, so, I mean, you could read that ordinance pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
Bill's very good at what he does. Oh, I think somebody could come in and say, listen, you can't inspect that because the state says we don't have to, you don't have to do that. Okay, Bill's here.
Bill's here.
No,
Okay.
What does Bill think?
Okay, I'm sorry, I've been trying to listen. I apologize. I had a real technical problem here. Real technical problem. I'm with you now.
Okay,
But we were just discussing, Bill, about the ordinance for like basically a dock inspector, because the state right now says that there's nobody to inspect, nobody has to inspect the dock construction and all that. So Mount Arlington has a pretty good ordinance, and we were
Yeah,
just
Bill sent that. I did see it. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
we were just as a board, I guess we have to just make a recommendation to the mayor and the council to review that ordinance and see if they can adopt something similar to that.
Yeah,
So we
I don't
we
see
have
why
somebody.
not.
So do we need a vote for that, Bill, or do we just?
Yeah, it's just a recommendation.
Yeah.
So it would be a vote to recommend that the governing body consider adopting the ordinance, and we can set forth the reasons for that in a letter. I can prepare a letter for that.
Okay, so yeah, I would make the motion that we move ahead with that and submit that to the mayor and council. So I guess we need a,
I'll second it.
okay.
Mr. Bongiovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Shirella?
Yes.
Mr. Dellarina?
Yes.
Mr. Kusevich?
yes,
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Before I vote on this, can I ask Mr. Rushkey if he's had a chance to review it?
No, I didn't get a chance to review it, but I'll take a look at it before it goes to the council.
Copy that. Yes, send it to council.
Mayor Galati?
Yes.
Chairman Wright?
Yes. Okay. All right, discussion, we
Oh, shit.
You got muted, Bob.
then, yeah,
and you mute me?
yeah. You're
All right,
talking,
I
any
did by
other,
accident, Bob. I'm sorry.
that's all right, I forgive you. Bill, do you have any other discussion, or that's it on your end?
That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay. So, do we have any old business we need to discuss? I don't, nothing comes to mind on my end. New business, I don't have anything to discuss on new business.
You want to swear
Continue.
a new guy in?
Yeah, oh yeah, Bill Haggerty, you have
Yes.
to, you have to administer the oath to, Mr. Dathan.
Okay. We here?
He's here.
Okay. All right. Would you please raise your right hand? And do you have the form in front of you? I don't know that you do, but just repeat after me if you would. I state your name,
Richard Gathan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of this state
and the Constitution of this state
of New Jersey,
of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
in the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly,
perform all the duties of
and perform the duties of
Class 4 Land Use Member
Class 4 Land Use Member
of the Borough of Hopatcong
of the Borough of Hopatcong
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. And then
Thank
you'll
you.
sign the form, and then you're on board.
Thank you.
Welcome, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay, tonight's, we only have one application tonight. It's a new application. Mr. Jim Jimenez, block 30501, lot 66, 411 Lakeside Boulevard. Is Mr. Jimenez here? Or someone that's,
Yes,
Yes,
Chris Colabella on behalf of Mr. Jimenez. And I wanted to address the board because we started this meeting back in December. And I did not know if you wanted us to start all over in light of the fact that there's some new members. We went through Mr. Rushkey's technical review letter. Mr. Carriega testified. and there were quite a few questions, so we carried the meeting. And since that time, we've engaged a planner, Jessica Caldwell. So I didn't know if, what the board's pleasure would be, if you wanted Mr. Carriega to start
I think
from
we
the
should,
beginning.
Chris, I think we should just start from the top, you know, let's take it as new, so this way everybody's on board.
Very
I
good.
think we may have to. This is a use variance application. You need 5 affirmative votes to
Yes.
approve this. You've got quite a few new members here. And
Yes.
I'm sure the new members probably haven't gone back and listened to the audio. And it's always difficult to listen to audio in any event. But because of that, I think maybe that we don't really have a good option. So,
Okay,
And Bill,
So
also, the mayor and, the councilman, this is a D variance,
right.
so they're gonna have to recuse them. Now, can they stay on the meeting, Bill, or should they just, you know, we've never really
They
had that.
they can, just like any member of the public, they can listen to the application. They wouldn't participate in it. We do need 5 eligible votes for a use variance, so we would need 5 class 4 members. And of course, from Mr. Calabella's viewpoint, ideally you'd have 7 because he needs 5 yes out of a potential 7.
Do we have that? Do we have what we need, Amy? As far as members, what do we have? Do we have 5? Class 4?
I have 4 class 4.
How do we handle that, Bill?
She asked 4 members, 4 class 4 members.
Yes.
We could proceed with the hearing and then we would
Wait,
have
does
to
that
have a
include Judy?
class 4 member or
Wait.
2.
Mr. Haggerty,
Yes,
Judy Crock is here. She's just muted. So I can always call her if she wants to participate, or she can call me and wants to participate. I can put her on speaker and she can be another voting member. That would be 5.
that would be ideal because otherwise we could go ahead with the hearing and have someone who's not present listen to the tape and vote at the next meeting, but it's preferable if we'd have the full 5 and could act on it tonight.
All right, Judy, I know you can hear me. So if you have a comment or you got something to say, call me. I'm sure she agrees. We can go.
Okay.
All right.
Bill.
I just have a
Bill?
question, Mr. Haggerty. Do these votes consist of the actual full class 4 members, or the alternate class 4 members could fill in if
The
necessary?
alternate class 4 members can participate because, and that's the role. If a regular class 4 member is missing, an alternate class 4 member would step in.
Okay,
But my understanding is we've only got 4 total, whether it's regular full members or alternate members. I think that's what I'm hearing.
Bill, what's triggering this to be the D variance? I thought they were gonna. reduce-
There's the cottage house, and then they propose a new single family home. So there'll be 2 single family homes on a single
Okay.
property.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, which we've
Yeah.
indicated would not, it wouldn't be rentals. They're gonna use the house and it'll be a guest house essentially.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's still a
okay,
house.
Miss- I think you
Yeah.
can go ahead, Mr. Colabella, with the.
All right, very good.
presentation.
So what I think I'd like to do is have Mr. Carriega sworn in and Ms. Caldwell sworn in as well. And we can start with Mr. Carriega it would be ideal.
Okay. All right, Bill, you want to swear them in?
Sure. Mr. Carriega, please
Yes.
raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Carriega, you are a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey,
Yes, sir.
and you participated in the preparation of these plans,
Yes, I did.
and you've testified many times before this board.
That's correct.
And then Mrs. Caldwell.
Ms. Caldwell, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And you're a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey,
Yes, I am.
and you've prepared a report for this matter, is that right?
Yes, I did.
And you've testified before this board?
I have. It's been a little while, but I have
Well,
testified
sure.
before this
Okay.
board and several other boards, many other boards in the state and several in the area as well.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chris, why don't you start with giving us a little background on the whole, you know, to get us going here.
Yeah, sure. The property is located at block 30501, lot 6. It's an R1 residential zone. It's got frontage on Lakeside Boulevard and frontage on Lake Opakong in the rear. The property's developed with a raised ranch, an existing foundation of a second principal structure, which used to be the Croft. It used to be a hotel.
Kincroft.
Yes, the Greencroft, right. There's some walkways and stairs, several retaining walls. There's a detached garage on Lakeside Boulevard. There's a dock in Lake Opakong. And we're proposing to construct a 2-story single-family dwelling within the footprint of the existing foundation. And we have some aerial pictures that will show you where the existing foundation is. The hotel actually had room for 35 guests. And I've sent to the board some Sanborn information that I received from Martin Kane, which shows how many structures have been on that property going all the way back to 1917. And at times there were 5, 6 structures on the property. There were cottages. So this particular proposal would be for a main house down on the lake, which is consistent with the other lakefronts in the area. There is a driveway that comes down off of Lakeside Boulevard and services 4 or 5 houses there. And the driveway separates the upper part of the lot, which is on Lakeside Boulevard, and the cottage and the garage are up on that section of the property, which is separated. As a result, to do this project, we are applying for several variances, and there's bulk variances, side yard setback, building height. There's lot coverage questions. One principal structure per lot is the issue with regard to the use variance, and that's essentially it. There's a lot of pre-existing non-conforming issues which Mr. Carriego will discuss. There was a technical review letter that was submitted by Mr. Rushke back in October. I think the date is October 6th, 2023. Mr. Carriego responded to that letter, that technical review letter, with a letter of December 28, 2023, addressing all of the technical review issues. The letter also attached some additional maps. And I just wanted to confirm too, before we get started, that the board did receive Mr. Carriega's letter of December 28, 2023, and the attachments, and that they received my letter attaching the Sanborn maps that we were able to find to show the prior use of the property going all the way back to I believe it was 2000. Let me see what the first date is. I think it's 2007. I'm sorry, 1917. I keep saying 2000, but 1917. Mr. Ray, is that something that the board has? I sent 13 copies.
I have, yeah, we have I have Mr. Carriega's letter here in response to John's letter. So,
okay, and the Sanborn maps also that we submitted along with Ms. Caldwell Dykstra's report. That report was also submitted back in February, and that's the planning report that she's going to testify to. So I didn't know if I just wanted to make sure everybody had a copy of all that material. It's quite a bit, and it's important because there's a lot of interesting issues with regard to the property that we're going to discuss, and we want to be prepared to answer the board's questions, any questions that you have. So with that said, can I get some confirmation, Mr. Ray, with respect to that? Does the board member, do the board members?
I don't have the maps.
Okay.
Do we have those maps, Danielle? I mean, I don't.
So perhaps we at the
Can you share the screen, Chris?
Yeah, but at an appropriate time, perhaps we can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is call Mr. Carriego first. Mr. Carriego, did we swear him in already?
Yes.
We did. Yes, we did. Mr. Carriego, did you have an opportunity to prepare some plans with respect to this property located at 411 Lakeside Boulevard, block 30501, lot 66. With respect to the summary that I just provided and the variances that we're applying for before the board tonight?
Yes, I prepared the drawings to address all that.
Okay. Could you please, and if we could, Mr. Haggerty, just mark and I think we should mark the revised plan. There was a revised plan that was submitted December 20, was that December 28th, 29th?
29.
December 29th. If we can mark that as A1,
Okay,
and that's
sure,
what
let's
Mr.
mark, it's the Carriega variance plan. It consists of 3 sheets. And
Yes.
the most recent revision date is December 29th, is that right? 23?
That's correct. With that said, Mr. Carrier, could you just walk the board through the property and what it consists of on the first page of A1?
Sure. The property is, as Chris just discussed, we're proposing a new single-family dwelling on the a portion of the existing foundation that was built for the 2 condominium units that were previously approved on the property. The lot is serviced by an on-site well, and the public sewer system, the sanitary sewer easement runs along the lake side of the property, along with all the other properties adjacent to it. The driveway that is used to access the property is also used by 3 other properties, as Mr. Colbell had mentioned. We at the bottom of at the driveway, we had previously had a paved drive or paved parking area that we have changed to gravel on the revised plans here. One of the previous issues that the board had at our December hearing was the amount of impervious coverage. So we tried to make every effort to reduce the impervious coverage, which was previously at 47.1% on a previous application, which is down to 38.9% with the revised application. The lot itself is in the R1 zone, which has a 15,000 square foot minimum lot area. We do have 15,531 square feet, so we are conforming with the lot area. The lot width is 120 feet in the zone. We only have 80 feet in lot width, so that is a pre-existing non-conformity. Other non-conformities, the existing dwelling that's on the property has a 31-foot setback where a 40-foot setback is typically required. Minimum side yard setback for the existing dwelling is 2.4 feet from the sideline, whereas 10 feet is required. Minimum habitable floor area, the existing dwelling, which is really a cottage that's to be used for guests only, is 576 square feet, where 1,000 square foot is the minimum per ordinance in the zone. We do have variances that are required in addition to these pre-existing nonconformities. The proposed dwelling on the existing foundation is 6.7 feet away from the property line, where 10 feet is required. We have the maximum lot coverage of 38.9%, where 25% is required. And what else do we have here? The other variance is the D variance. The one principal dwelling is allowed where we have 2 principal dwellings.
Now, with respect to the plan, I know you had testified, you made certain adjustments. Did you have an opportunity to review Mr. Rushke's letter of, so I think it's October 8, 2023, and his technical review?
Yes, and we did respond to that in our letter of December 28th, and I can go through that letter if you'd like.
If we could, yes, for the benefit of the board.
Sure. Technical review, item number 1 from Mr. Rushke, given the site location on Lake Hopatcong within the riparian zone of Lake Hopatcong, the project is regulated by NJDEP land use regulation, FHA regulations. The proposed project is subject to the conditions by permit by rule for general construction activities located outside the flood area in a riparian zone. If these conditions cannot be met, permitting may be required to be obtained from the DEP. So our response is the proposed improvements follow the condition of permit by rule number 10, and the note number 16 has been added to the general note sections to address that. Item number 2, in his letter, the applicant should provide testimony regarding the residence of the existing and proposed dwelling specifically, or one or both dwellings will be rental units. And our response is the proposed dwelling shall be the permanent residence for the applicant, while the cottage will be used for family or friends to stay while visiting. So neither of those dwellings will be utilized as a rental unit. Item number 3, the site plan notes a gravel parking area. However, a construction detail for driveway pavement is provided. Please verify the proposed construction of the parking area. And we indicated that the proposed parking area shall be gravel. The detail has been changed accordingly. Item number 4, the steep slope plan should clearly depict the locations of the steep and critical slopes. The hatch used for steep slopes is difficult to discern. 0 to 14.99%, so it should be changed, or color copy provided. And our response was the steep slopes identification has been made darker and changed to all alternating hatched lines. Item number 5, per section 197-16 of the Borough Code, minimum slopes away from the structures of 2% shall be required. And our response was the slopes away from the dwelling shall be a minimum of 2%. Number 6, soil boring tests shall be conducted in the vicinity of the proposed dry wells to verify the soil's conditions and suitability of the proposed dry well design. Full drainage of dry wells within 72 hours should be verified based on soils conditions. Any changes to the plans resulting from the test pit results will require review by the board engineer. And our response was soil boring tests shall be conducted and the test results provided. And it is understood if it's different, we may have to provide an alternate design. Number 7, due to the disturbance of steep slopes, super silt fence should be used. And our response was a super silt fence has been added along the edge of disturbance closer to the lake. A detail has been added to the plan. Item number 8, should the board view this application favorably, the applicant must contact the borough's engineer or construction office to schedule an inspection of the proposed dry well. And our response was the applicant will contact the borough engineer or construction office for inspections of the dry well installation. 9, approval from the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District must be obtained prior to construction, and a copy of the approval submitted to the borough for PACCON. And our response, approval of the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District shall be obtained and provided to the borough. Number 10, should the board view this application favorably due to the presence of steep slopes, approval should be conditioned upon the installation of the silt fence at the proposed and approved limits of disturbance to ensure the proposed steep slopes are not further disturbed. And our response was additional silt fence has been shown at the top and bottom of the slopes. And that was the end of the letter.
Thank you.
John, John, are you satisfied with those answers to your concerns?
Yeah, I have no objections to the responses.
Okay, very good.
I have a question on the impervious coverage. So I understand that you've reduced it from 45% to 38%, but what is driving it up from existing 29%? The foundation is already there, right? It seems from the drawings that you're not using all of the prior foundation that was there, so.
Well, the foundation is just the perimeter of the building. There is no coverage in the center of it, so there's very little coverage for the existing foundation because it's just the block perimeter that's counted at this point.
So the existing coverage of 29% only includes the perimeter foundation. It doesn't include the interior, so it's already over the 25% with just the foundation in it. And that's how it's getting to 38% by the construction of the home on the property, right?
Correct.
Are there any other ways to reduce the impervious coverage? Or,
No.
you know, as you mentioned,
We looked at it, and the driveway. The only other way to do it was to really change some of the existing driveway, paved driveway, to gravel or pervious pavement, but it's just too steep for either of those options. So I don't see a reasonable option to reduce the coverage any further.
Anthony, I don't think you could do any of that anyways, because that driveway services other people.
Yeah.
There's a right of way to that, so that it has to stay paved, you know, I mean, if you saw the hotel that was there, that thing took up that whole property. I mean, that was a massive building. This is like a shed compared to what's there.
Right, okay.
Hey,
Thank
Jeff, while you're talking about, while you're giving your presentation, can you just share on your screen with the site plan, just so that the general public can see the plan?
I don't think I can do that from here, but Danielle, maybe you could do it.
Yeah, I just think it's helpful for the public just to see the plan as it's being discussed.
John, I don't think you were part of this original. Were you here then, 2003, John?
Oh, yeah, no, I remember this one.
I remember, I remember voting on this whole thing. This was
No, this one went around a few times, actually.
yeah.
It did.
I mean, it's too bad there isn't a picture of the old Greencroft. I mean, so people can get an idea how big that building was.
Yeah,
We do have pictures of it,
Okay.
Mr. Wright. And Ms. Caldwell will, I think we'll be able to put them up. I also sent them to Danielle, should be able to put them
We
up
have
on the
them.
screen as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we have them.
So, Mr. Carriega, the picture on the board, is that A1? Is that what you were referring to when you were testifying to?
That's correct.
Okay. And with respect to the foundation that is going to be used for the new structure, is it going to, the new structure is going to be right on that existing foundation? Is that what your testimony is?
Yeah, the new structure is going to be set on the existing foundation. It's not going to cover the entire existing foundation. Some of it will be removed, but that's noted on the plans also.
So it's not going to be the size of the old hotel.
No, it's probably about 60%, 70% of the footprint.
Okay. And with respect to the question relating to the lot coverage, I think Mr. Ray addressed this. There's a portion that driveway that comes through. That driveway is paved and it services 3 other homes. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay. So that wouldn't be something that they can do without impeding on the neighboring property owner's rights. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And with respect to the issue of steep slopes, I think you addressed and I guess this is a construction issue. There'll be an installation of additional silt fences, and I guess from the top of and the bottom of the slopes, and they're indicated on this revised plan.
Yeah, it's on the soil erosion plan. It's on the third sheet.
On the third sheet.
Yeah.
If we could just, Danielle, is it possible to go to the second sheet? So, Mr. Carriego, with regard to the second sheet, could you just tell the board what the purpose of the second sheet is and what you're showing here with the topo lines, et cetera?
Yeah, the second sheet just shows the details of the slopes on the property. We have existing conditions on the far left, the proposed grading plan in the center, and the drainage and utility plan on the right. So starting with the drainage and utility plan on the right, it pretty much details out where the dry well is going to go on the property between the house and the lake. Again, there's really not a lot of grading going on in the property other than right in front of the existing proposed dwelling that's shown in the middle detail, the grading plan. And really it's just a variety of retaining walls and steps that are necessary to be constructed to get down to the proposed house.
Okay, and with regard to sheet 3, which is now on the screen, could you explain to the board what sheet 3 is showing us?
Yeah, sheet 3 is a soil erosion and grading plan. It has all the typical details or notes the Soil Conservation Service to show where the silt fence is going to go, which is illustrated between the house and the lake, location of temporary topsoil stockpile, and typical details that are required for the soil erosion plans.
Okay. With that, I would open it up to any additional questions the board might have. Any additional questions for Mr. Carriega?
Mr. Carriega, there's a single well that's going to serve the cottage house and the new home, is that right?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
Is there a
What?
single, is there a single well that's going to serve the cottage house and the new house?
Yes, there is.
Okay, and each has its own connection to the sewer system, is that?
Correct.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, what I'd like to do is have Ms. Caldwell testify at this point.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Caldwell, do you go by Ms. Caldwell Dykstra or you go by Ms. Caldwell? I want to address you appropriately.
Sorry, Miss Caldwell's good.
Ms. Caldwell, okay. Ms. Caldwell, did you have an opportunity to prepare a plan in terms of the proposed project at 411 Lakeside Boulevard in Hopatcong?
Yes, I did. I submitted a report to the board. Let's see, is dated January 27th, 2024.
Okay. And what was the purpose of your report?
The purpose of the report was to review the application with respect to variance criteria and the various variances that were requested, but primarily for the D variances involved for two principal structures or two single-family residences on a lot in the R1 single-family zone.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to review any historical data to determine what the prior use of this property and historical use of this property has been?
Yes, I also reviewed the data that was submitted to the board with respect to the Sanborn maps and the prior uses on the property.
And could you tell the board what were some of those prior uses based on your review?
Based on the review, what we saw was that the prior use was starting in 1917 was for the Greencroft Hotel. Let's see if I can get that actual document up. Nope, I'm not seeing it. And over the years, there were several different buildings on the property, up to 4, with various cottages, as well as the hotel and the garage structure that you see on the property. So it was developed much more intensively historically.
Okay. And that hotel, do you recall there being some data indicating that it had 35 rooms?
I didn't see the exact data for that, no.
Okay. And I see some pictures up on the screen. Is that is that the hotel?
Yes, that's the document that we submitted, yes.
Okay. And is that a picture? That's an actual picture of the hotel to your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. And okay, so there's an older version that goes back, the Greencroft. And the structure that you, in reviewing the plans, the structure that's going to be is being proposed, is it smaller than this building here?
Yes, it is somewhat smaller, primarily using as much of the foundation as possible, but
Okay.
not all of it.
Okay. And as part of your report, did you have occasion to get some aerial views of the property?
Yes, I got those from Mr. Carriega, did some drone footage and
Okay.
took some drone photos of the site, which I reviewed and incorporated into my report as well.
Okay. Do you have the ability to put that aerial view up on the screen?
I do, unless the board would like to put those up. They also have everything, but I can
Yeah,
also put it
Danielle,
up.
if you could, if you have a report, if you could put that up on the screen, the aerial.
If it's easier, I can do it. It's fine.
Hold on, Amy's looking for it right now.
Okay,
All right, well, Ms. Caldwell, if you could do it, I mean, this way you'll be in control
Yeah.
because we're gonna look at some other pictures as well.
can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
So could you tell the board what we're looking at there?
So this is an aerial photo, drone photo, looking from, I believe it's the north to the south from Lake Hopatcong, essentially the shore on the subject property. This is the location of the foundation where the proposal is to construct the single-family residence. This is the private driveway that goes to Lakeside Boulevard. This is some lawn area, the cottage on the property, and the garage on the property.
Okay,
How many
And-
square feet is the cottage?
I'm sorry?
How many square feet is the cottage?
See, I
Interior.
have that. I believe it's 500.
Pretty
It's
small.
actually- It
Okay.
is pretty small. Oops, sorry about that. I'm sharing. Forgot.
Yeah, I think
So,
you said-
there is a pre-existing non-conforming condition that it is undersized for
There's
minimum
576 square feet is
size.
the
Yeah,
cottage.
576 square feet. Sorry, I don't have that right in front of me.
And then there's a two-car garage on the property as well?
There is, yes.
so with regard to the pre-existing condition, you were about to start a discussion on that. If you could just let the board know what the pre-existing conditions were and what the existing conditions are and how this plan actually impacts the existing zone plan and surrounding uses.
So some of the pre-existing nonconformities we have are lot width where we have 80 feet where 120 feet is required. The existing dwelling on the property, that raised ranch, has a front yard of 31 feet where 40 feet is required. And the existing dwelling has a 2.4-foot side yard setback where 10 feet is required. With respect to impervious coverage, we talked about that a little bit, as 29.2% existing. As well as the existing residence, there's a minimum square footage for dwellings of 1,000 feet, and the existing dwelling is 576 square feet, which is why we've been referring to it as a cottage, that it's a very small structure. And really, in a lot of ways, with a single family residence constructed on the property, could be seen as an accessory unit to the property. And in some ways, not necessarily a full second principal structure, even though that's what we're applying for. With respect to proposed variances with the new residence, we have a 6.7-foot side yard setback, which in a lot of ways is a pre-existing condition because of the location of the foundation. And then we also have a lot coverage that's increased that we spoke about to 38.9%. And in large part, that is almost bringing it back to a historic level of impervious coverage where, you know, we had the Greencroft Hotel, which did take up a large portion of that property in the front along the lakeside.
And is this proposal consistent with the surrounding uses in that particular area on Lakeside Boulevard?
It certainly is. I will just pull up that photo, the aerial photo again quickly. Just to talk a little bit about the uniqueness of this property, in that, as you can see, all of the houses along the lake here are pretty uniform in being at the location where they are along the lakefront, as well as the amount of space in between the houses. And really, with this one particular property where the structure is now gone, it really looks out of place. So having a single family residence in this location, I think would really create that, you know, lakefront view that was historic in a lot of ways, but also very much fits the character of the area. Some of the other things that I think really make this property uniquely suited to having a residence in this location and what would amount to a second principal structure on the property is there's really two levels on this property, just from the topography, the way the lot lays out, and the way that development has occurred historically on the property. This secondary access to the lower portion of the property almost creates really two building lots on the property where you have this flat area up here by the roadway by Lakeside Boulevard, where you have the garage and the cottage. And then you have the driveway, which accesses where the lower part of the lot, which would have the single family residence. And then it just really creates these two scenarios where these two structures make sense. You have parking here for the second dwelling, which would be constructed here so that parking would be conforming. You have access and parking here for the cottage. You have additional parking in the garage. So the property is really uniquely suited, I think, and well suited to having these two areas of development, which creates the cottage and the single family residence on the property.
Okay, very good. Could you just talk a little bit about the variance criteria, the positive and negative, just to highlight for the board the positive and negative, and obviously to create a record?
Yeah, definitely. So within all variances have requirements for positive and negative criteria. On the positive side of a D1 use variance, one of the main aspects from the Medici case is site suitability. And that's why I've been talking about why I think this property is suitable to having the secondary dwelling. That separate driveway that creates two building lots with frontage on Lakeside Boulevard and then really frontage on the secondary access road, that there's plenty of parking on the property, that there's this existing foundation that really lends itself to constructing the second residence. All of those things make this site particularly suited to this use. Additionally, we need to show that we meet one or more of the purposes of the municipal land use law. And I think in this case that we meet or promote purpose E, which is to promote the establishment of appropriate population densities and concentrations that will contribute to the well-being of persons, neighborhoods, communities, and regions, and preservation of the environment. And the proposed residences, I believe, align with the development of the neighborhood. Like I said, by being similar in size and intensity of surrounding properties, and meeting the uses permitted in the zone, which is single family residences, but also continues the historic character of the area. I also think this application promotes purpose G, which is to provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses, including residential. And the proposal provides for this location for an existing or proposed single family residence in a location that did have an existing dwelling of much greater intensity as the hotel use. Purpose I is to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. And really, like I pointed out, I think that having just that foundation and that open space where you've historically had a row of houses facing the lake, I think that having a new residence that's well constructed, that fits in with the neighborhood will improve that visual appearance of that lakefront area. Also, purpose M, which is to encourage coordination of various public and private procedures and activities shaping land development with a view of lessening the cost of such development and to the more efficient use of land. So I believe this is a more efficient use of the property is to reconstruct a single family residence on this property where the existing foundation is. It's a much less intensive use, but I think is an appropriate use for the property, which is efficient and promotes the appropriate use of the land. All variances need to meet the negative criteria, and there's two prongs to that. One is no substantial detriment to the public good or the neighborhood. and the other is no substantial impairment to the zone plan or ordinances. So with respect to the first prong of the substantial detriment to the public good, I think there are a lot of reasons why this fits into the neighborhood and won't have substantial negative impacts on the neighborhood. One, that there's adequate access and parking for both of the residences proposed on the property, that the existing proposed dwellings each have their own access, that the way that the property is broken up because of the topography really creates two development paths on the site. There's historically been a structure in the area where the proposed structure is going. And I think for those reasons, this infill type of development won't have a substantial negative impact on the neighborhood. The master plan doesn't really address additional residential development, but does talk about rehabilitating existing residents that are dilapidated. We do have a structure that I believe burned down in a fire. This would replace that, at least the structure, from a standpoint of improving that, also adding a new residence to the community, which is a positive for the community. And also the community has had some population decline over the years, so this would help to bring it back up to previous population densities. And then in other ways, because of this really unique aspect of the property, that adding this second single family residence won't negatively impact the master plan because it is such a unique situation. We do have a couple of C variances, which in a lot of ways I think are subsumed into the D variance because of the uniqueness of the property and that it has this existing foundation, which really creates that side yard setback variance and also the impervious coverage variance because of the location of the foundation and the size and area of the property. But if we're looking at actual variance criteria, I would put it in also under the C2 criteria, where we also have to show that we meet some of the purposes of municipal land use law, which I've discussed already in great detail, and that we have no negative impacts to the public good, which again, I think we're minimizing the impervious coverage to the maximum extent possible, bringing it back to less than historic levels of intensity, which I don't think will negatively impact the neighbors. And again, I think the same criteria under no substantial impairment to the zone plan and the master plan. So I think overall, this application meets the variance criteria for the D1 use variance, as well as the two bulk standard variances for the side yard setback and the impervious coverage.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ms. Caldwell. Any questions from the board?
And the garage looks like it has a second floor on it. What's that currently being used for?
I
We
would
could
have to
we could
defer
ask
to
the
someone.
homeowner.
Yeah,
Mr. Jimenez is here and we could have him
Okay.
sworn.
Sworn in.
We'd like-
Okay. Mr. Jimenez, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
No, can you repeat it?
What is the second floor of the garage used for?
It's not a second floor in the garage.
Is
So
it, is
so what
it,
maybe I could clear it up from the top, in the top of the garage is where they park the cars. Around the back, the garage is basically built on pillars, you know, to get it up to the floor, to the road height. There's nothing, you know, it's not a
I
two-story
got
structure.
it. Okay. From the picture, it looked like it was a two-story structure. Got it.
okay, yeah, it does.
any other questions, Ms. Caldwell or the homeowner?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. If there are no other questions, I guess at this point, we could open it to the public. That's the sum total of the evidence we intend to submit. Ms. Caldwell's report, of course, Mr. Carriega's plans, and the testimony. Did the board have any specific questions of Mr. Jimenez, at this time before we open it to the public?
Does Mr. Jimenez intend to have the cottage house restricted so that it will be a guest home for the family and not a separate rental? Because that's been discussed somewhat.
Yes, and I could ask him, Mr. Jimenez, with respect to the cottage, is it your intention just to have that there for visiting family and friends?
Yes.
It's not, you're not intending to rent it or anything like that, is
No.
that correct? And you'd be willing to put a restriction in your deed if necessary, if the board requires it, to say that you wouldn't use it as a rental? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My other
Go
my
ahead.
comment, you guys, this was going back from last year. Why'd you guys wait till so late into March to apply for a permit now?
Well, we were before the board in December. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, that's why, I know you guys, we have, the members switched over, but did you guys, wait till March to come forward?
Well, that was the first meeting that they were able to give us after we had our plans complete. And that's the only reason at this point, they would have loved to have, we came in December. They really wanted to have the thing done in December because they wanted to start construction and they were hoping to maybe get into the house sometime in 2024. But whatever, the board's pleasure. I mean, we wanted to get in as soon as possible. And this was the first date we were able to get in after actually getting all the plans complete and getting the report from Ms. Caldwell complete as well.
Steve, this application actually started 20 years ago. We gave approval 20 years ago to build on this thing, and it just never got. These people are finally going to do something here, so I'm happy for that.
So we have time then.
No, I think time's up.
My other concern is they, during their comment section, it was a single and then it's a double home, really. It's two homes.
Well, there's two homes on there's one home that's existing that was always there, Steve. So the previous owner or a couple owners ago tore down the hotel and got approvals to build two condos down on that thing, and that never materialized. So this is where we're at now. So I mean, each time it comes back, it gets less and less.
It's a less intense use for sure than prior approvals.
So.
Yeah, no, I know the property really well. I mean,
okay,
but that was my only concern is, they keep mentioning single, but it's actually two homes on the property.
They're building they're building a new single family dwelling. Maybe that's where.
Correct.
Yeah. The confusion. There's going to be two single family dwellings on the property.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we have no more comments or questions for the professionals, I think we can open this application to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Just go to the bottom of your screen and reactions, and Amy will let you in. Who do we got? Beth?
Meredith.
Beth Meredith. Okay, the Bill, do you have to swear her in?
Yeah. Is it just a comment or a question? What do we have here?
It's a comment, so I should be
Comment?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, well, if it's a comment, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And your name, please.
Beth Ann Meredith.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I live next door. My husband Tim and I have lived there for over 35 years now, next door to the Greencroft. So we are thrilled that this new house is finally going up. We're happy about the size of it. We think they're going to do a great job. A couple of the confusing things have been cleared up tonight by the planner and Jeff. How it's not going to be on the exact same footprint as the Greencroft, because that would be way too big. So we're in favor of it.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
That's it.
All right, do we have anybody else from the public that wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, okay, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board, and I'll wait for a motion.
I mean, since the neighbors have an issue with that, I'll make a motion.
To approve
I'll
it?
second it. Are you going to include the restriction that was talked about? That the cottage house would be used only for friends and family?
Yes.
Okay,
And that all the concerns of, the borough engineer are met and, everything is complied with, so.
Yeah.
right.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Call the roll?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Carilla,
Yes.
Ms. Croft,
Yes.
Mr. Kukovich,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
What about the rest of us?
I thought we just wanted the 5. You want me to do?
Oh, no, yeah, if there's 7 eligible, it's,
Okay,
take. poll
that was
also.
my misunderstanding. I apologize. Mr. Delavina,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
and Chairman Ray.
Yes. Sorry, Amy.
Thank you all
Okay,
for
well,
your time.
you got your approval, so good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next meeting, the next item on the agenda is that the meeting is open to the public. Does anybody from?
Do
the
we
pub-
want to offer, I'm sorry, do they need a memorialization?
Well, he didn't ask for it,
Yes,
so.
okay.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sorry
gonna
to
be, it's gonna be a while before they, I mean, it's been 20 years. What's another month?
A few days.
Okay.
So. Okay, so the meeting is open to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to address this board? Go to the bottom of this. Screen and reactions. We have anybody?
No.
Okay, seeing, no, okay, seeing no one from the public, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the board. Mr. Haggerty, were we going into an executive session tonight or something? I mean, I don't, is that this meeting? or
I
next?
don't know that we have to. You've all probably seen some communication that's been circulated.
Okay.
And you, okay.
Okay, so, that's
No
it for
no
the
action to
agenda.
be taken.
No
no.
action to be taken, okay. So that's it for the meeting. I'll just wait for a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Croft made it.
To adjourn? Okay, thanks, Judy. Have a good night.
Good night,
Night,
everybody.
everyone.
Good night.
Hi,
Thank you.
everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Night.
Thank you.
Danny?
Yeah. I'm hanging up. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye.